Since 1964, the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs has been the single most important amateur auto race in the nation. This weekend, almost 600 competitors will fight for a medal in what has been called the Olympics of auto racing. This is where professional racing careers are launched. This is where legacies are born. This is the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin-Verb.
And welcome to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. Coverage of the 2016 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Alongside Randy Popes, I'm Rick Benjamin. Jeff Lepper with us on pit road. Hayward Wagner there as well. And we've got some great action coming up for you. Open wheel cars. We've got our Garmin-Verb Fast Lap. This is Rob Loomis, Jacob Loomis on board here with Loomis as we come down the front straightaway. The finish line, Randy Popes, heading toward what we call turn one.
Jacob Loomis turned 16 years old this year, and he's on the pole going through turn one, which is a very fast corner, fastest one on the track, and it's a left. The left-handers are fast, the right-handers are slower at Mid-Ohio, and there's a lot of them. Turn two, we're going straight up there for another passing opportunity. It decreases at the end. It's called the keyhole. Very important corner leads on this long straightaway. It's downhill, so you always feel like your car's got good power. This little kink is an easy flat-out run into a brake zone. Look, you can't see it yet. It drops off downhill, makes it hard to learn this track, hard to go in deep enough. End of the straightaway, this is where all the action is, best place to pass. Now we get into the Mid-Ohio roller coaster. These hills are steep enough to get the car a little bit in the air. Turning in for madness under the Honda Bridge. Another one of those roller coaster humps over the top, little wheel spin, drop for a slight break. Again, the jump turn, the steepest of them all. Everybody uses that curb and more. Down through Thunder Valley, heading for turn 11. Another fast left-hander, an early apex corner, unlike most of the track. Jacob really using it. He's going good. Little sideways on that downhill run into this, the carousel. Important corner that leads to the finish line. The races finish here, and they start out on back straight.
Yesterday, you and I had the opportunity to call the FE race, the Formula Enterprises race. Open wheel cars at Mid-Ohio, pretty darn spectacular.
And this class, Formula Mazda, has the best racing engine ever built, in my opinion, the rotary.
There you go.
They're running a 13B rotary, which is the bigger version that came in the Mazda RX-7 race cars, street cars, for many years. And the rotary has, I think, 3 moving parts.
Yeah.
It's an amazing engine that fires 3 times per revolution. It works great in a race.
Sure do. Yeah, these cars rev high. They put down a lot of power. They're very, very quick. Pole time, Jacob Loomis, about a minute 27.068 seconds. So Loomis making some fast laps around here. He will lead an 8-car field to green. Before we get started, Jeff Lepper on pit road.
Well, thank you so much, Rick. Yeah, Formula Mazda, one of the classic open wheel categories here that's led some guys into the Pro Mazda series all the way up into the IndyCar series. But the trick here is there's only been a few guys that have never done one runoffs, 4 guys that have never done any runoffs. So we'll have a brand new winner in Formula Mazda here today.
Should be an exciting battle. Jacob Loomis on pole. That's the 68 car. And he is driving the Epic Electric Texas Autosports entry. He's from Corinth, Texas. Matthew McKillow is on the outside pole from Wexford, Pennsylvania in the 21. The Nathan Contracting Jesse machine. That's one of the Jesse Prather Motorsports entries. That's a Star Formula Mazda car. Janet Voorhees will start third from Crescent, Texas in the 16 car. Make it Jarrett Voorhees. And John Entwistle from Katona, New York. He will drive the Entwistle Racing 8 car. He starts in 4th spot. Paul Ravanis is from Texas, from Aledo, Texas. He will start in the 5th position. Bradley Yake from Fort Worth, Texas lines up in 6th. William Snyder from Southlake, Texas. And Nicholas Malone from Vail, Texas starts in the 8th spot. So Texas region dominating here with, 6 of the 8 entries, all from Texas. So
I was just seeing
a Texas winner may be a likely thing here.
Yeah, maybe. And the pole man just barely on the pole, typical for a spec class. These cars are all the same chassis, all the same engine. You can adjust wings and sway bars and minor things like that, alignment. But the cars are very similar, so it emphasizes the driver. And Jacob Loomis grew up in karts. He's one of those 16-year-olds with 8 years of racing experience in karting, and all the way up to shifter karts. And now he's got to actually shift One of the things I love about Formula Mazda is it has a straight cut H pattern shifter, 5-speed. I miss that. You know, modern cars have now got these little push buttons. You just flip a little
They make
button.
it too easy sometimes.
They make
right?
it too easy.
There you go.
The driver's just not doing as much. These are real race cars that you shift, and you got to know how to do it. So that's been a big step for Jacob, and I'm sure anyone else new to this field, especially coming out of karting.
Safety car dives for the access road. We're ready to go. 40 minutes is our time distance, 23 laps. I would think we'd have no trouble completing the 23 laps with Formula Mazda. We're glad to have you with us. And we are underway. One of the cars diving to the inside. Voorhees in the 15 takes a look. Your leader into turn 1 is Machiko in the 21 car.
Machiko got the jump on the start around the outside of Loomis.
Machiko in that black and white machine. Loomis in the green 68, your pole sitter. In second spot, he's under attack, though, early.
He doesn't look like he's got the car just yet. He's not warmed up enough yet.
He may not be, the tires may not be for that matter, but Machiko gets off to a nice lead as he heads under the Mid-Ohio Bridge.
We do have really different conditions from earlier in the week where it was hot and sunny. Well, this morning it's gray. It's even a little misty.
One car off, putting a right rear, it looks like, into the grass there, kicking up some dust, but Machiko taking advantage of all of this. He's opened up about a 7 or 8 car length lead.
He's come out of the box like Usain Bolt. Full speed right from the starting gun.
These cars are so much fun to drive, Randy Popes. They've got plenty of power, as you mentioned. Old school shifting here. You've got to match your revs. You've got to be right on things. Good 3-car freight train coming up the hill into the keyhole. And an inside move, the 15 of Jared Voorhees trying to gun third.
My friends that have raced these cars say they're absolutely the greatest. And you can see how close this battling is. But these 3 guys, if they race too much, they are never going to catch that leader. Machiko, boy, he's got the setup this morning.
Good 3-car fight for second spot. Machiko continues to build on the lead. They go 3 wide heading into turn 3. 15 car on the inside. That's Voorhees. Can't get the job done. Entwistle in the 8 on the high side. Look at the flame belch out of those rotaries when you get off the gas.
I don't think Voorhees has the pace. Obviously, he doesn't have the pace just yet. Whoa!
Jacob Loomis, the pole sitter in the green 68, trying to thread his way through and get back into second spot. Can't get the job done.
It's a little early, you guys, to let the leader get away. That's my advice as the old pro.
Hook up in a freight train and run him down and then settle it, right?
That's what I'd be doing. If I was on the radio to one of these guys, I'd be saying, line up and run down the leader on the straight.
And that's what they call racecraft. One car in some trouble there.
Whoa.
The 15 of Voorhees goes around, so that 3-car battle ends up with Voorhees in the grass, stalled apparently.
I hope he can get that running.
We'll get a local yellow over there. Now, these cars have self-starters. You can see Voorhees try to get the car refired. Take another look at what happens here. He just lost that on his own.
That tricky turn 11. It's a fast left-hander that jumps up on a tabletop, and it can loosen the car up.
Car gets light in the rear end, and away you go sometimes. All right, so this settles things down a little. Loomis in the 68 now second. The 8-car, John Entwistle, running in third position here. Maybe these two can work together and try to chase down Machiko, your leader, who's got a 3-second advantage. Here comes Machiko through the kink.
He is gone at this point, but the complexion of this race could change completely if Entwistle cannot get that car started, because then they may have to go full yellow, and then all the cars bunch up behind the pace car. It could happen.
Well, if you were with us yesterday in our coverage here from day one of these 2016 SCCA National Championship runoffs, I think it's safe to say that the SCCA stewards want to leave the green flag out as much as possible. We had several offs yesterday in positions that I think, Randy, you and I thought maybe would call for a full course yellow.
Yes.
Officials deciding to keep the green, put a local yellow out only, warn the drivers you can't pass at this corner in this section of racetrack, because you get one crack at this. You're out there for 50 miles or so of racing. Nobody wants to see these races end under caution.
No, it's a short race. It's a sprint race. The runoffs is about flat out and getting it to the finish in a full-on sprint. And I saw a little blue go by. I think Entwistle's still sitting there. And then yesterday we saw a great race with, was that T2? 2 cars neck and neck the whole race, but a guy had to be towed off. He was in a dangerous place, and the race finished under yellow. We're early, so this could still work out.
Machiko is your leader. Loomis and Entwistle, the rest of the top 3. Paul Lavares has moved up a spot in the 5 car. He is 4th. Will Snyder in the 28 sits 5th. Bradley Yake is up to 6th. Nicholas Malone falls to 7th. And Voorhees has lost a lap now, 2 laps, and he is scored in 8th position. So that's the way they run.
Yeah, we had the wrong guy in the dirt there. Entwistle's 3rd, and it's Voorhees, actually, Jared Voorhees, who went off at 11.
Yep, Voorhees in the 15 car. We had that call when he went off earlier. Machiko laying down some good laps. He's almost a second quicker than Jacob Loomis, so he is adding to his advantage here down through the S's.
Wow, and he drifts it beautifully into that corner. You can see how well these cars handle. I love a car that'll just lay into the corner in a four-wheel drift. Beautiful handling. On the other hand, maybe I'm being a little greedy, a little selfish here. If we go yellow, it's going to bunch these guys up and we'll get a better race.
Well, we certainly want to see that from a competitive standpoint. Certainly want to see that for you at home watching or on your laptop, your mobile device, wherever you might be enjoying our coverage here at SCCA.com this weekend. Certainly, the closer the racing, the more fun it is for all concerned, except for the guy out front. Matthew Machiko saying, hey, I like this.
Yeah,
we'll live with this. This will be wonderful.
And he's earned it. So I really, and the other side, the racer's side, would hate to see the guy lose a lead that he earned.
Yeah.
It looks like Voorhees' car was gone. I didn't see it on the way through there. So I think we're racing. And Loomis is starting to get his act together.
Got down into the 129s, a little quicker that lap than Machiko. So he's chopped the lead down to 3.8 seconds here as we work on lap number 5 of 23.
It was a bit of a guess this morning because of the different weather, especially on tire pressures. What do? It's a much colder track. The tires are not going to come up as much. Maybe Loomis has not missed it on the pressure.
So you dare them up a little more in that situation.
Yeah, because they won't come up as much when they're not getting as hot.
They're not going to, they're not going to warm as quickly on a day like this for sure.
Yeah.
Of course, these cars run on slicks. 6th position up for grabs here. Bradley Yake in the 24, Nick Malone in the 38.
Yellow on yellow.
The 28 of Will Snyder right there. He is running in 5th spot, and Yake in 6th in the yellow 24 car. Will Snyder from Southlake, Texas. A lot of these drivers from the Texas region, including Yake, who's from Fort Worth. For 5th position here in the Formula Mazda National Championship battle at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
These Formula Mazdas with the rotary engine offer probably the most speed for the price. Being winged Formula cars, lightweight with 13B rotary power, they really go. A 29 is a quick lap time around here at Mid-Ohio, giving you an idea of the speed potential. And they're so cheap to run because those rotaries just go and go and go and go. As long as you keep oil in them and you don't overheat them, they'll run at race speeds for years, literally.
Our good friend Johnny O'Connell, who you raced against for many, many years in a variety of cars, most notably recently in World Challenge, Randy Pobst. That's where he started. He and I had done Star Mazda on TV for a number of years together, and he just loved these cars, and I know you do as well, and they've certainly given us a lot of great racing over the years. Battle here into the keyhole, the 28 car of Snyder, Yake in the 24, and Yake goes through on the bottom to take over 5th.
Look at that. Yake got out into the mirrors, and it sort of intimidated the guy ahead of him, and he made his move.
Down through the kink, but here comes Snyder right back at Yake. This one's not over yet by any means.
Yeah, he can make that draft work. Open wheel cars are, frankly, not good aerodynamically.
Yeah.
They don't have the smooth body work, so there's a lot of aero drag, and they punch a big hole in the air, and so they're giving a lot of help to the car behind them on a long straightaway.
We had this a couple of times yesterday, Randy. Machiko up front in the 21 car, eligible for a super sweep, and that, of course, includes a win at a U.S. Majors event, a win at another keynote event at SCCA Club Racing, national level racing, the National Points Championship in Formula Mazda, which Machiko has claimed. If he can close the deal here in the 21, he would earn the super sweep, which is a pretty rare honor in this sport.
Oh, it's a high honor because it means you've been doing it all year, not just at the hot race at the runoffs. It's a very high honor, and it's not easy to pull off. Look at Loomis. He's got his act together. He's got fastest lap of the race. It just took him about 2 or 3 laps to get there.
Yeah, 128.463. Best lap so far for Loomis, but he's still 3.9 seconds behind Machiko. Machiko took advantage after starting on the outside pole. He got the drop on Loomis as they came to the green flag. led into one, or into what's actually turn 3 and 4 here.
First lap of the race.
First lap of the race,
yeah,
so, right. And has not looked back.
I'm with you, Rick. I'm with you. And you know what? I think Loomis was a little too careful in the unknown conditions. And sometimes that can pay off for you, sometimes it doesn't.
So we watch Machiko in the 21 car with that super sweep. His for the taking, it would appear here today.
I love watching those cars drift down into the corner, or maybe it's just Matt Machiko.
Yeah.
I like the way he lays that car into the corner.
He's got it set up perfectly for just a tiny bit of drift there.
Yes. You know, I always talk about how the best cars have a little bit of understeer, but if you have just a little bit of oversteer, that's more fun.
Sure.
And in a car this light, the tire, and you know, slick tires made for racing, you can slide the car around a lot more than you can in a big heavy class.
But is that a good way to drive these cars? You want tires that are still grippy at the end of one of these races.
A little bit. If you're not sliding them a little bit, you're not going fast
There
enough.
you go.
You slide them too much, you're going to use them up.
Gotcha.
I remember in an earlier Formula car race we were watching that I was up here bragging about how the cars would never use up their tires, and then, well, guess what? They did. And the race's complexion changed a lot, and positions changed, and it really looked like the tires had gone off. And that's what the guys said after the race, too, the guys and the gal.
Jacob Loomis, your pole sitter in the 68, starting to reel in Machiko, the leader here.
Look at him drifted over that hill.
Working lap number 8, about a third of the way home. Loomis cracking off another good lap. Last lap of 127.922. He's getting faster. He was about 4/10 quicker than Machiko that time. Lead now 3.5 seconds.
Let's do the math. 4/10 a lap, 3.5 seconds, 8 or 9 laps.
He'll be there. Maybe.
He might be able to get there.
What we don't know, of course, is Machiko just saving his car with a big lead? Is he just breathing things a little more, being a little more cautious, knowing he's got that super sweep opportunity and thinking, hey, I don't want to throw this thing away?
Which would not be a bad idea. Although from what I've been told, these cars don't need to be saved much. They just go and go and go. Now we were watching a sedan, another of the race at the runoffs. The lead car all the way through the race, way out front, and on the very last lap, broke down.
Yeah.
And the lap before that was one of his very fastest of the whole race.
Hey, race cars are always fastest before the engine's let go, right?
And that's an example of what you just described, that if you got a big lead, maybe you back off a little bit, take care of the car, and get this puppy home. Of course, American sedans are way more temperamental, hopped-up hot rods than these Formula Mazdas with that rotary engine I keep bragging about that will just run and run and run.
Great place to learn the craft of open-wheel racing, no doubt about that. As we mentioned, Johnny O'Connell among many terrific drivers who spent a lot of time in these cars. Of course, there's a newer version at the pro level. The original Star Mazda race car, has been around for a long time, and now Formula Mazda at the club level. Every place I go, Randy, as we cover amateur racing around the country, for some of our other folks we do work with, these cars fill a paddock area. I mean, there's plenty of them around the country. Only 8 answering the call here for the Runoffs Championship, but
yes,
always worthy of your attention, I think. They're fast, they're fun, and the drivers obviously have a great time throwing them around on the racetrack.
Rick, these are one of the few cars that they make me want to drive them just watching them go. I love that drifty way they go through a corner.
Matt Machiko, Jeff Lepper with an opportunity to score a super sweep victory. He's got a 3-second lead here as we get close to halfway.
Well, with Dad Gary, who races later, but Matt's the guy right now. All season long, you guys prep for this, going for that super sweep.
Yeah, we're a lot of racing, a lot of bad weather all season. Finally got a great week this week, and just excited to be out here and be out front. I think he's going to take it home right from the start to the finish here.
If he does good here, is the Continental ride in the future for him?
He's had it any time he wanted to, and thinking about maybe something a little bit bigger, maybe some test ride in an Indy Lights car or moving up the ladder a little bit.
Well, I know Rick Benjamin, that F4 series seems pretty cool as well from SCCA.
Absolutely. The F4 United States Championship, which is an SCCA Pro Series that we televise, is certainly worthy of the attention of a lot of these drivers. In fact, John Entwistle, who's running third right now, has purchased one of those new F4 cars and will be running the F4 U.S. Championship Series next season. So we're excited to learn that and look forward to seeing John Entwistle in that situation, driving one of those cars. And these Pro Mazda cars, these Formula Mazda cars. Oh, trouble for your runner-up, Jacob Loomis, on pit road. They brought that car to pit road, and you can see the frustration as Jacob Loomis has had to undo the belts. The wheel is off. They are done for the afternoon. The gloves get tossed. Jacob Loomis extremely frustrated, running second after being your pole qualifier in this category. And he is done for the day.
That's a shame. He was the quickest man on course, and he actually had a shot at reeling in Matt Machiko.
That gives Machiko pretty much clear sailing, as now Entwistle is 19 seconds back. He assumes second spot here. Paul Rivares takes over third in the 5 car. Then it's Yake, Snyder, Nick Malone, and Jared Voorhees, who spun earlier and only completed 1 lap. So Voorhees behind the wall as well. You've got now 6 cars left in this Formula Mazda battle for honors.
Let's see what Machiko's going to do now here, and if he's going to try and get that fastest lap for just the honor, the power, and the glory.
He can take it easy from here, it would appear. Jeff Lepper on pit road.
Well, down here in the impound area, we're here at the black flag station. Your third place driver now, Paul Rivares, has to come in. It looks like it's a sound violation for him as well. So looks like he's done taking the gloves off. So they're dropping like flies in Formula Mazda.
So Paul Rivares, who had a pretty good day going for himself here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, looks like he is going to be parked by SCCA stewards. You do have a sound barrier limit here at Mid-Ohio that you have to meet as well. You can't break that or you do get penalized.
Very strange in a spec class. Probably muffler came loose or came off, or maybe on the intake side, because some engines you get as much noise out in the intake as you do the exhaust, although not a rotary. Rotaries really need their muffler because they're firing 3 times per revolution per rotor. That's 6 shots per revolution. And man, the rotaries are the loudest engines there are. So that's probably what happened, was an issue with the muffler of all things.
As we watch Matt Machiko, you just heard from his dad a moment ago, giving some consideration to giving Matt an opportunity to test an Indy Lights car. That would, talk about jumping into the deep end of the pool, that would certainly be it. And Machiko obviously very capable if he can close the deal here and earn the SCCA National Super Sweep Award in Formula Mazda. That's a great credit to have on your resume. John Entwistle in the 8 car running second. The gap is 19.8 seconds from first to second.
Nice drift. Oh, look at him drifted into the corner. He's pretty free on the way into turn 6 there. And light like the flames coming out of the back of that car. That's really a cool effect.
That is part of racing one of these Formula Mazda machines with that rotary. Back downstairs to Jeff Lepper.
Well, you mentioned the rotary, and a lot of frustration here on pit lane with 2 of our drivers, especially Jacob Loomis, failed sound as well. SCCA parked him. He went straight to his pit spot. You saw the emotion coming from that youngster running second here today.
So it was not a technical problem with the car in terms of its ability to run and complete the race. Strictly a matter of breaking the sound limit here. There you get a look at that cross-flow rear muffler that comes off that rotary engine.
There's a muffler, and then on the end I see a flange.
Yeah.
It looks like it might
come apart there.
You may be able to use a super trap type of baffle that boats on there, and maybe, like you said, Rick, maybe it came apart and the pieces fell off the car.
Not an unknown situation in racing, no question about that. Machiko, though, continuing to lay down very consistent laps under no pressure. Ran a 129.8 last lap, was best lap of the day, a 128.1. So Machiko's backed it off about 1.5 seconds per lap here, is under no threat whatsoever from Entwistle, who runs second. Bradley Yake in the 24 up to third now, but he's almost a minute behind. Bradley Yake 51 seconds off the lead right now as we work lap number 13. There'll be 10 to go this time by. And, think about that gap. And with all due respect to Yake and Will Snyder, who's 4th, Nick Malone in 5th, they're out there, they're competing, they're doing a great job in those race cars. Machiko, far and away the class of the field here today.
Yeah, he is. And I'm staring hard at the back of his race car, and he looks like he has no super trap type baffles on his either. So I'm thinking these cars must be right on the edge of the noise. And for some reason, one is clicking it over the top and one isn't. It can be weather conditions. It can be where they are echoing off of a wall. And you also see that the exhaust is pointed back to the right. So I guarantee you the sound meter is on the left.
Yeah,
They're trying to avoid it. But I see a problem here with maybe losing more cars, but what if everybody fails sound?
Well, we've had one more car come to pit road here and being sent to the paddock area, it appears. So that might well have been the Rivaris car going back there. That was a red car that Paul Rivaris was driving. We saw him a moment ago, Jeff reporting on that car being docked and penalized and parked for the rest of the event due to a sound violation here in Mid-Ohio. Rivaris, tough break for him, certainly, because he was in contention for a podium spot.
I got a theory, Rick.
All right.
The weather, it's a lot cooler than it was, and it's kind of wet, humid, misty. The air is dense.
Yep.
Air that is dense carries more sound. And it could be that the weather conditions have made these Mazdas louder to the sound meter.
Could be.
And the sound meter is really for the sake of the people that live around this track, and really to a certain extent the people standing by the track watching it. That's why some race cars have sound limits. It's not uncommon at a lot of racetracks, especially in club racing as opposed to pro, that they have sound limits just to please the neighbors.
Yeah.
Because we have farms and the town of Lexington outside this racetrack, and you can hear the track from the pizza parlor down in Lexington.
That sounds like the voice of personal experience there.
Not that I eat much pizza, if you ever see me.
I know. My broadcast partner, my good friend Mr. Popst, is Rail Finn, for those of you who never have had the pleasure of meeting him in person.
Trim. I like to think of
You're
it as
fit.
trim.
You're a race car fit, my friend. There's no doubt about that.
I was 2 years ago, Rick. And you got to be race car fit to drive a car like this.
Yes, you do.
Because these things pull a lot of G's. Like we saw the Spec Racer Ford race. Those guys were sweaty. In spite of that 100-mile-an-hour air conditioning I was talking about on a cool morning, they're pulling G's. And these Formula Mazdas, look at those wings. Wings give you downforce. Downforce gives you grip. Grip means cornering G force. You cannot believe. I'll bet these things are well over 2 G's, which is twice the force of gravity sideways, laterally. And for one thing, that feels so good, or at least it does to me. Those of us that like to road race, we like corners, we like lateral G's. We like the feeling of being pushed sideways in the car. Whereas people who like drag racing, they like longitudinal G's. I've never been into that.
No.
I'm like, let's just get the straightaway over and get to the next corner.
And it's, it's all, everybody who loves to race and loves to race different kinds of vehicles, you get your kicks in different ways. There's no question about that. So point well taken. Bradley Yake sits third in the 24 car. Last lap, 131.002, losing another second or so to Machiko, who laid down a 129.6, second and a half difference that lap. So Bradley Yake in third, uncontested at the moment. Will Snyder a lap back of the leader. Nick Malone in fifth, a lap back of the leader. Loomis, Rivaris, and Jared Voorhees all out of this one before the checkered flag. Machiko by himself, 20 seconds ahead of John Entwistle, who is in second spot. If you're, as we take a look at Yake here in the 24 car running third, if you're Machiko and you're out front as Yake comes out of the carousel and across the finish line down the pit road straightaway here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And again, for those of you just joining us here, if you've never seen Mid-Ohio or been to Mid-Ohio, a move made this time around in this edition of the Runoffs. This was the home to the Runoffs for many, many years back, not that many years ago. They're using the pro starting line, which is on the long straightaway, out of the keyhole now. The finish line, though, on that pit road straightaway. If you're Machiko at this point, you're thinking, okay, I've got this one salted away. I need to complete the remaining 7 laps as he comes across the stripe here. You start to think, okay, what can go wrong? I've got the super sweep in my grasp. I've proven my point. We're the fastest car in the place in our class by far. What goes through your mind, Randy, when you've got a big lead like this?
I got a theory about that.
Okay.
I think that Matt Machiko, I'm watching his lap times, and the guy is unbelievable. He's like a metronome. He is running low 128s, right like he was when he was being chased by Loomis.
Yeah.
And I think he wants to win this race with honor. For one, Formula Mazda cars are very reliable. That's one of the great signatures of this car, and I don't think he's afraid of it breaking. So I think he's trying to win it with honor by being fast the whole way through, because at this point he could just coast home.
Yeah.
But judging from his lap times, that is not his choice. He's still on it. He's driving it as if Loomis was still chasing him, and I think he wants to prove that he would have won it either way.
Yeah. He is laying down some very quick laps here on the backside of the race course.
I got a theory about Loomis, too.
All right.
I was about to start.
It's theory day here.
Theory day.
All right.
Well, you know, that's color. I think of a color.
Of course.
But
very, very true.
Jacob Loomis, like our man Matt Machiko, is working on a career as a race car driver. And I was about to start lecturing him because he looked kind of petulant, youthful, temperamental, throwing his gloves, until we learned that it was due to a sound violation. Totally unexpected. All the cars are the same. And that frustration would just kill me. I'll tell you that. I think I would have thrown my gloves, and I'm not a throw the gloves kind of guy.
Well, and you know, and I know you're certainly not, and we've seen that kind of behavior from racers off and on over the years, generally not successful racers, frankly, because this is a sport, especially I think road racing, it demands a lot of mental discipline. And if you if you're hot-tempered, that's the opposite of mental discipline to me.
So true. Unless you're able to focus that anger, which is a real winner's capability.
Yeah.
But that's discipline.
Yeah.
That's control. If you get angry, but you use it as a tool, and it's a passionate sport. I mean, the highs are high and the lows are low. But when the lows are low, that's what you find out what somebody's really made of.
Yeah.
Plus, I've got a friend who works real hard to be a positive thinker, but goes way over the top and is even lecturing people when they complain. Well, guess what? Once in a while, you got a right to be angry.
Sure.
You got a right to be frustrated. And for Jacob Loomis, he was on the path. He was the fastest guy in the race, and we all wanted to see if he could reel in Matt Machiko. And that opportunity was taken from him probably just due to the weather. That's what I think happened.
Could well be. Machiko continuing to lead. He just put Nick Malone in the 38 a lap down, and that's pretty darn impressive in these cars because they are spec cars. This is a spec chassis, a spec tire, and a spec engine. And as you talk about, Randy, a lot of times when we're covering these kinds of races, it does come down to driving ability, tuning ability. Machiko's got it all going for him today here at Mid-Ohio. Jeff Lepper on pit road.
Well, spoke with Gary Machiko once again. He says he doesn't want to tell him to back off. He doesn't want to hurt his rhythm. The only thing he said was be careful around that sound meter. It's taken out a couple competitors already today.
Good advice. All right, Jeff, if you can still hear us, is there one sound meter located at a certain point on the racetrack?
I'm going to try to get word from that from SCCA. Generally, the sound meter on this course is as you enter out of Madness coming down to the left. It's on the left side by the Honda Bridge. We'll have to see if there's only one here, if there's two at this track.
I would expect one, and that is brilliant. That's not something I even thought of. Is seeing how the cars are getting pipped this morning. If you got a lead, you just sort of lift when you're going by
when you get down there. Yeah, exactly.
I've done that a time or two.
Yeah.
That would be a wise strategy because it could be over.
In a heartbeat, it could be over.
And these cars are all the same.
Yeah.
So I think that even Matt Machiko is probably right on the edge.
You would think so, and we just heard that his dad, Gary, who's the crew chief on this car, telling his son, hey, you got a big lead, keep laying down good laps, but be smart. Be mindful of where that sound meter is. And growing up at a time when you wanted your race car to make as much noise as possible, when we were racing, nobody thought about sound meters in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. It wasn't anything you were paying attention to. But now it's very common. This is not an urban area where Mid-Ohio is, but it's very common to race, especially oval track racing, drag racing conducted a lot of times within city limits. There are a lot of places where, super trap mufflers came in the 80s. That's where, you see walls around tracks now, and you see places where you've really got to limit the sound. But a little surprising to me that we've had guys run into a problem here at Mid-Ohio this week. Let's get more on that story from Pit Road. Back to Jeff.
Well, got word that the sound meter is driver's left side as you exit the keyhole. You get a chance to do it 3 times. If you break it the first time, you get a warning. The second time, you get a rolled up black flag. The third time, you're disqualified from the runoffs.
So if you've seen a black flag rolled up, you would think, okay, coming through the keyhole, I better take it easy.
Yeah, that would have been the right move. But I think it was probably just a little too tough for Jacob. He was trying to make up from the slow start. And, I mean, you do get 3 shots.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not a one and done. You do get a couple of warnings before the third time is when you get pulled to pit road and sent done for the day. Machiko doing a great job. Now he is coming up to the keyhole here, so this will be one of the places where he'll be mindful of what's going on.
It's also tough to know exactly when you're peaking the meter.
Yeah.
Because this exhaust is on the back of the car, so it may well not be the loudest point may be after you go by it.
Sure.
Not when you're next to it. Probably is.
Probably is. Machiko still with a 19-second lead here. Coming up 2 laps to go next time by as he continues to put down solid laps. So 131 last time, so he has slowed down some.
I got another theory for you.
All right.
If it's on the driver's left, look at how the exhaust is pointing to the right, correct? That's good for you. But if you're coming out of the keyhole going down the straightaway and there's somebody going into the keyhole that's not that far away, and the exhaust is pointed
the other direction.
The sound meter.
Yeah.
The timing could just have been wrong for these 2 cars that got black flagged. That, just bad luck.
Maybe there's 2 cars triggering the meter at the same time.
Yes, and the weather.
Yeah.
Because obviously they've been running all week.
Yeah.
So they would have known if they had a problem yet at this point.
You would think.
I think this cool, dense air was a problem for the Formula Mazda cars.
Matt Machiko in the 21 has led virtually all the way. Took the lead from pole starter Jacob Loomis on the opening lap. Loomis with a very good fast lap of the day. A 127.922.
Yeah, Machiko has backed off a little bit. He is running at a 31. So he is deciding now to sort of bring it home in first place, and definitely with the sound. I mean, I would be super paranoid at this point.
Loomis parked because of the sound violation after laying down the fastest lap of this race. And then Jared Voorhees, who was in the fight for second in the early going, spun on the second lap coming up toward the carousel and was unable to refire. He was done after just 1 lap of competition. But Machiko has been stout and flawless.
When you spin a car, it's not unusual for the engine to flood.
Yeah.
Because it might die, and that happens a lot. You got to floor it. Maybe he tried that, maybe he didn't. You just never know. And these cars may have little tiny batteries in them. I've had that problem before.
I would think so, yeah.
But it doesn't take much to turn over a rotary. But rotaries can be a little bit hard to start sometimes.
They can.
Especially when they're hot.
When you see the amount of flame that's coming out of that exhaust, that's going to typically tell you it may be hard to restart that engine.
Yeah, that flame is excess fuel burning. That's pretty sharp there, Rick. I'm proud of you. I didn't think of that.
I'm glad you are. That's nice to know. All right, white flag is in the air for your race leader, Matt Machiko.
I know enough to tell you it makes sense.
There you go.
And all that unburned fuel didn't burn when he spun and probably fouled the plugs. Okay, last lap?
Last lap indeed.
Sorry
Machiko headed toward the keyhole. Machiko.
Just got to bring it home. Got to hit those
smooth.
apexes. His dad talked about not breaking his rhythm. Because look, he's still going very fast around this racetrack. You got to get everything right. But he has less focus probably, or potentially, because there's nobody on him. No heat.
No pressure.
The pressure can actually be good in some ways. It's interesting to see how drivers react to that.
John Entwistle running in second spot in the 8 car, 16.5 seconds back. Entwistle ran a 129.5 last lap. Machiko has backed it down into the 131s with plenty of lead, plenty of cushion there, giving up a second or so a lap. No problem for Machiko in the 21.
Yeah, back through madness. Taking that little Formula Mazda over the roller coaster one last time.
Headed toward Thunder Valley here under the Mid-Ohio Bridge.
Not quite as drifty.
Nope.
He's almost home.
No reason to put that car sideways.
Yeah, this is big. This is big for a young driver.
Machiko from Texas on his way to a super sweep. The SCCA Runoffs victory here, which is about to be completed, will cap off a terrific season for Matt Machiko. Comes under the Honda flag stand and gets the crossed checkered flags.
Oh, yeah.
Double fist pump in the air into turn one. Machiko is your winner and a super sweep winner, winning the national points in Formula Mazda, winning a U.S. Majors Tour event, and winning another keynote event in national level competition this year. Great year for Matt Machiko, young driver with an opportunity perhaps to go Indy Lights racing next year, according to his dad. At least test one of those cars and maybe step up to that category. That would be an outstanding ascension for Machiko after winning a national championship here in Formula Mazda.
Look at that good directional stability in the Formula Mazda. You don't need to steer on the straightaways.
There you go.
You'll have to be careful with the oval track cars. You can't get away with that.
Not at all.
They'll pull hard one way. It's one thing I like about road racing. It's balanced.
Yeah. Machiko takes the checkered flag.
Woo!
Celebrating down here on the long straightaway, down into turn three.
He earned it.
Yes, he did.
He had a heck of a start. He was on the pace right from the beginning.
John Entwistle finishing second. Bradley Yake almost a minute back in third of the 24 car. Then Will Snyder and Nick Malone in the 38 car. Loomis, Rivaris, and Voorhees failing to finish here today at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. So we'll hear from our podium finishers in just a moment and get you set for the next event on our calendar. Coming up, Spec Racer Miata.
That's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big one. More Mazdas.
Yeah.
Mazda's such a strong supporter of racing with that fantastic little sports car, the Miata. And I was surprised when I saw Jacob Loomis pulling over because I was bragging up on how reliable these Formula Mazdas are. And we found out it was this sound issue. What a shame, so frustrating, and I think weather-related.
So Machiko in the 21 will come to pit road. Jeff Lepper will talk with he and with Entwistle and Yake, our top three finishers in Formula Mazda. Spec Miata coming up next with 45 cars on the grid for that event, including the executive producer of our coverage here, Clark Cameron.
You are kidding me. I didn't know that.
That is the serious indication that I have gotten it, and there he is. Clark is starting back in 33rd spot.
Hey, we can have fun with Clark.
Outside the 11th row for the no, I'm just teasing.
Woohoo!
Matt Machiko excited to say the least as he jumps out of the 21 car, celebrating an SCCA Runoffs win in Formula Mazda.
He wanted this one bad.
No
the
question.
Whole super sweep.
The hug for his colleagues on pit road. Our Jeff Lepper there to talk to our race winner. The 8-car event whistle rolling into position in the second position. And Bradley Yake, who finishes third in the 24, will join them in just a moment here.
Could be the beginning of a great career.
Could be, and we can say we knew him when.
Yeah, we may see him drinking the milk at the Indy 500.
Could be.
Who knows? Sky's the limit.
It is, and again, you know, the number of heroes of our sport who have come from these ranks and used an SCCA Runoffs win as a stepping stone, it's a very long list. All right, let's hear from our winner downstairs to Jeff Lepper.
Well, Matt Machiko, you step out of the Continental car to go to that first step of the road to Mazda, road to Indy with program, and good result so far for this season.
Yeah, thank you. It was a flawless run today. The car was perfect. The guys did a great job. Got to thank Mazda for putting on the show. Frontier Dental Laboratories, Jesse and Fritchell, Nathan Contract for coming on board. Everybody involved, my girlfriend, my family, just everybody's here, and man, this is special.
Now, what does it mean for you to win that first step of the podium to that road to Indy?
Well, I think I've gotten through school, gotten a job and worked for this, bought the car, and I think we can bring a different aspect to the road to Indy. I think everybody's young. I think we proved here today that we can win, and we're going to keep moving on with that.
Well, I don't think we'll see him in Formula Mazda next year because this guy is on the up and up.
Matt Machiko, your winner, very excited winner indeed. Maybe a different level of maturity there than some of the teenagers we see in those open wheel ranks trying to make that climb up the ladder to possibly the Indy cars.
Rick, I can't help but giggle at that one. I think the implication was he's not young.
Yeah, not as young.
Not as young.
Yeah.
He's well into his early 20s.
Probably. Great run from Machiko. We'll see where he goes from here after winning the super sweep at the SCCA Runoffs. Back downstairs to Jeff Lepper.
Well, John Entwistle sitting here down there says, talking to my ears. I don't really know what to say. I'm kind of shocked he's here at second place, but your second runoffs, and you get a second place podium.
I am just hard in the. I didn't think I was second. I thought I was third, so I'm ecstatic. It's awesome.
Now tell us about your drive through that race. Did you just sort of maintain your pace?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was constantly checking my mirrors. I could have pushed it a little harder, but no one behind me and the guy in front of me wasn't in sight, so I figured, why push it?
Well, John Entwistle, his second runoffs, and gets that with a second place silver medal today.
From Katona, New York, our neck of the woods up in the northeastern United States, we congratulate John Entwistle. We talked about how there were so many Texas region drivers in the field. The two non-Texas region drivers run 1-2. Machiko from Wexford, Pennsylvania, and right behind him, Entwistle from Katona, New York, although he does race in the Texas region. That's a long haul indeed. The Entwistle Racing machine coming home in second. And there is Machiko carrying the winner's flag on the victory lap around the 2.25-mile layout here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Back downstairs to Jeff Lepper.
Well, with Brad Yake, Brad, in your second runoffs as well, you get third place today.
Yeah, what a surprise. I had no idea. I was out driving by myself, come in, and they say third place. Great. Surprised.
Always better to be there in the end. And was that? Tell us about your drive, though, throughout that race. How was it for you?
I had a really bad start, so I went to the back and then had to make my way back. And that was kind of tough. And once I got back, I kind of found my place and just kind of went around and drove. So never really saw anybody after that. So that's why I don't know what happened or how I ended up in third, but I'm pretty happy about that.
Well, I think Brad Yake will take that third place as well. His first podium in 2 runoff appearances.
And he will take it home to Fort Worth, Texas, one of those Texas region drivers we talked about earlier, the Mad Hatter Golf entry. So Yake ends up in third spot. Snyder is fourth. Malone is fifth. And then Loomis, Ravaris, and Voorhees failing to finish today in Formula Mazda in these 2016 SCCA runoffs. Randy Popes, Matt Machiko, a guy that we may see doing this professionally here very soon.
You know what, Rick? I had a pretty good career. Even still have a little bit of it.
I was going to say, don't talk in the past tense there, my friend.
And my first road race, I was 26 years old.
See, kids these days, they get started way early, don't they?
Yes, they do, and they're good.
Some of the early battling here for second spot. Loomis, who was your pole qualifier, getting penalized for a sound violation, among others. That's Voorhees with that lap 1 spin that put him out for the day. And here's the battle with Yake moving through to take over third in the 24 car. The frustration of Jacob Loomis. For Randy Popes, Jeff Lepper, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating your SCCA runoffs winner in Formula Mazda, Matthew Machiko. We'll talk to you in just a couple of moments with Spec Miata here at the Runoffs.